Have you ever had a black boyfriend?
I dated a black man.
From where?
From
yeah. Okay.
Sudan.
Sudan. Oh, that's very black.
Very black.
Do you have like a fantasy towards black men?
Like, like I was saying about Mexico, like I tried not to have a fantasy over anything. Like I try not to have an expectation. Like sometimes you might have a presumption. We were just talking about this with my friend over there.
Yeah.
I might have presumptions about another person for information I know, but they might not.
Yeah.
But that's almost like a weakness I have. So that's something I try to work on.
I see. How do I even start this? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Blazy, straight from Mexico. But guess what? What a surprising thing. I have a Chinese person in Mexico.
Chinese person. Yeah. Here's the Chinese person.
Chinese and black man in Mexico. And she's one of the most amazing people I've met here since I arrived. I would be so sad if I was to leave without doing this podcast.
Oh.
What
That's
a woman.
super sweet of you.
I know, man. Anyway, but the world is changing. If we had a chance to marry so many women, I would have married you as my second wife.
You didn't ask me or your wife. You just that's invalid.
Yeah, and so let's say I have some questions for you. I'm sure you have some questions for me too, because I want us to be fair. But before I continue, I want you to tell me how have been your experience in Mexico so far? Because it's your first time, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I actually really like this country. I had no expectations. I didn't know what I was going to see, or most of the things we know about Mexico is just from the movies, whatever, and a lot of gangsters and all that. How American movies portray every other country, like we all know that. So I didn't have much expectations. Not that I had low expectations. I just was going to, I anticipated nothing. I was just coming to enjoy a new country, a new culture. So I came directly to PVR, and this place is amazing. I chose to stay at a hostel because that's where I meet people.
And by the way, if you don't know PVR, that's Puerto Vallarta in Jalisco, right?
The reason why I didn't say that is because I can't say that.
Yeah, we have
Puerto Vallarta.
And this is funny because we are very two unusual human beings. I'm a black man, she's Chinese, and she's in Mexico. So I'm sure everywhere she goes, people will look at her like, oh, where are you from? Same as me. I feel like many white people visit Mexico and Puerto Vallarta, but people are used to them as gringos. They're visiting, they like to visit. And all of a sudden, if you look on the street, you see a Chinese person. People will be like, oh, Chinese?
A Chinese person who's not with the tourist group.
That's right.
So
who's
that's
loitering around. My biggest bombshell for today, I have to take you back to China. We have to talk about this because we have to open people's minds. And this will be like marriage between Chinese and black people. This is not something that you see on your daily activities. Like I've realized the way the world is opening up, and I don't want to blame Chinese for anything or the Chinese culture, but it's just like, do you think there's a stigma of many Asians, or let's say particularly you're from China, or marrying black people, or like falling in love, or dating?
Like, are there a lot of Chinese people marrying black people?
Do they have like a stigma? Like
stigma? Yes, I would say so. Like I was saying earlier about Mexico, because China started developing in recent decades, right? Basically 2-3 decades ago. So before that, China was dirt poor.
Yeah.
And people didn't travel. Yes. And people didn't even have a TV. Like we started to have TV maybe like around the 80s. Yeah. So people didn't know that much about anything outside China, basically. So when we started to look at the outside world, where do we look at? We look at
America.
Exactly, the most developed countries.
That's right.
So the first impression of all the other countries in the world was through the filter of America.
Actually, I've seen that everybody in the planet always want to look like white people. Same as Africans. Africans will go and lighten their skins. I know Chinese will go and do like a nose nose job
Yeah.
to look like have like a white nose. That's what they call it, white nose.
Yeah, white nose. Yeah. Exactly. Or whiter skin.
Unfortunately, I don't have a black nose. The only thing I like about China, I don't have a white nose. I'm a black man. The only thing I like about Chinese is you guys never colonized any country.
Yeah.
Did you guys colonize any countries in Asia?
I mean, that's really not what I get to say.
Yeah.
From what I know, I think the colonization intention wasn't there.
Okay.
So throughout history, of course, like China is a huge country. Like today, it's a huge country, but the territory has changed throughout the history.
I see.
Initially, it was like smaller in the like middle of the current China, and then it moved around like what the China idea is. It kind of moved around, and then it expanded and shrank. And all kinds of things happened. So wars definitely happened, territory definitely changed, but like colonization, like going to specifically another person's land and grab that land and steal from them, that intention I don't think was there ever.
And actually, I think this is very funny. I want everybody to listen, mostly Africans and Americans. Africans have a soft spot for Chinese who are investing in Africa for only particular one reason. They never colonized us the way the white people did. So as much as people might complain, oh, the Chinese are moving into Africa, they're giving you money and then they'll take away your whatever. It might be true, I'm not sure, but at the same time, Africa is developing in a very high rate. Because for many years, many African countries had like allegiance towards white nations, and then there was no infrastructure, there was no nothing. The only, like Kenya, we only had one thing, to pledge allegiance to the Queen of England.
Yeah.
The roads were terrible, and then all of a sudden the Chinese came in. We had skyscraper buildings, we have beautiful roads, we have like train station, we have all kind of crazy stuff.
It was a different dynamic.
Yeah, but I understand the white man, when the white man saw that kind of development in Africa from China, they have to create a political whatever, just to fight that, to fight the influence from Africa. But I'm not saying that all Chinese are not like corrupt, but I'm just saying go to Nairobi and see what the Chinese have done there. It's tremendously amazing. I want to go next. What about you? Have you ever had a black boyfriend?
I dated a black man.
From where?
From
okay.
Sudan.
Sudan. Oh, that's very black.
Very black.
Oh, okay. What a woman. Now I'm trying to...
I don't even know what that means. Like, this is my only black date.
Now I'm trying to figure out, are you really Chinese? Okay, we'll find out by the time we finish this podcast.
No, maybe.
So how long was it? How long was the relationship?
We just dated, and it wasn't... we never got into a relationship.
I see.
But we're still friends. Yeah, okay, he's a great guy.
I'm going to go deep. You know I'm a very deep guy. My thoughts are so... Something. Hey, my dear viewers.
Put it
If you have kids, tell them to go in the bedroom because I'm about to ask it. So, do you have like a fantasy towards black men?
Like, like I was saying about Mexico, like I tried not to have a fantasy over anything. Like I try not to have an expectation. Like sometimes you might have a presumption. We were just talking about this with my friend over there. Yeah. I might have presumptions about another person for information I know, but they might not. Yeah. But that's almost like a weakness I have. So that's something I try to work on. You need to watch yourself. you need to think about what you say, what you do.
That's right. Yeah, but like this is something that we've always had it in the news in our neighborhoods. People talk about it secretly, but they don't talk about it publicly. And I feel like this new generation, we're willing to mix up together with everybody from the planet and talk. It's okay to have different opinions without being labeled as racist or something. Listen, that's how it has to be. Yushi, right? Yushi, ask me a question.
So, yeah, sure. Obviously, have encountered China as a concept or Chinese people. Yeah. So, what's your experience?
Actually, my first boss was Chinese. And he was working me to death. Okay, I'll say he was so detailed, and I feel Africans were more laid back. And the Chinese, they're very like, you have to be here at this time. You have to clock out at this time. you have to make sure your work productivity is like this. And at that time, I was just fresh from high school. We used to sell apartments. I told you his name was Chai, and he used to come to my computer and stand there and look at me working, and I felt so uncomfortable. But he used to take me to hot pot place to eat those Chinese stuff, and he will buy me food, and he will act like he's not harassing me at work. So every time we'll be at work, I'll have stress, and then as soon as I finish work, he'd be like, Blazy, a hot pot? I'm like, yeah. And I was like, this is just...
Do you know where he's from?
I don't know why in China, I can't remember. It was in 2018.
Okay. Because for somebody who likes hot pot, I wonder if he's from my region.
Probably.
Because we're all about hot pot.
And actually,
spicy hot pot.
Yeah, and I told you I've talked to a Chinese girl too. It was, and this is what I like. Regardless of how much racism or any whatever happens, there's always people who have a very pure heart towards that community, you know, stigmas and stuff. Because the girl I was talking to, she was very nice. The only thing was different was we had different culture, but she was a wonderful woman. And I was not her first boyfriend who was black. She had like other black boyfriends, and it's something very unusual. So, you know, I'll say that Chinese people are amazing human beings, for sure. Look at you.
I mean, people can be amazing and people can be bad. That's the thing I try to tell a lot of Americans, because I know for sure China has a different image in Africa than in the States.
That's true.
In the States, you know, people are like, yeah, China just bad, evil, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been trying to tell like Americans I've met. You know, China is huge, 1 billion people. There are good people, there are bad people. There are bad people in the government and good people in the government.
That's true.
You know, some like and there are layers of governments. And it's not like just one government that rules everything and completely decides like how you live your life. Like there are regions and there are layers.
That's true. And this is let's get away from China and black and boyfriends. I want to take you back to America.
Okay.
You've been here for 5 days. I know you're a traveler. You've traveled a few times, which is nice. And we live in the US. I don't know if it's only my experience, how I feel like this. America has money. There's money and resources. But according to me, I don't feel like America has peace and decongestion. Like, look at us now, sitting, looking at simple stuff. We went to the restaurant to buy food. You can see family. The food is nice. Do you think you want to stay in America for a long time? And why?
I mean, I ponder on this every day. Why am I still in the States?
Yeah.
I came here because of my family. Yeah. I have mixed babies.
Wait. Mix of what? Black? No, black?
Half. Their dad is half German, half Turkish.
Oh, yeah, that's mixed. Wow, that's nice. Okay. Okay.
So my babies are like...
You have a baby?
I have 2 kids. What?
I didn't know that. How old are you? Now continue. Now I want to listen to that.
You have 2 kids, and
how old?
14 and 13.
Wait, can I get some water, please? Someone has water? Yeah. Oh, I'll get water. Now, I apologize for any question I asked you before, but I think you're 14 years. So the Turkish man, right?
Half Turkish, half German. He's more German than Turkish. He is more American than anything else.
He lives here in the U.S.?
Yeah, he's in the U.S.
Wow. Okay, cool. Wow. Before this, I have to see the pictures of your kid. Not on the camera, but, you know. Wow, that's amazing. I would like to see how they look like. Yeah. Because I know the mixture of Chinese and white, it's so pretty. It's so beautiful. Some as black and Chinese for sure. I've seen those beautiful kids. So how long have you lived in the US?
10 years.
How
about you?
6 years now.
Okay.
Yeah. And your kids were born here?
No, my kids were born in China.
Oh, wonderful.
And we came here when they were 3 and 4.
Wow. Anyway, wow. I didn't expect that. Is it okay if I ask how old are you? Because you don't look that old to me. How
old do you think I am?
I was guessing like if you run so fast, you have to be 29, 30.
I'm 55.
Oh, no. Wait, she's joking, right? Are you joking? No, you're joking.
I'm not. Ask Catherine. I'm 55.
Show me your ID. That's the only way we can talk. I can. Oh my God! I can. Wait, this is very funny. Okay, you're joking, right?
I'm 37.
Okay. Wow.
Slightly better.
Okay, but 37
Nice doubting life.
It's so interesting. What do Chinese people eat? You guys don't age. Chinese don't age.
White people, please don't watch this.
Anyway, but that's interesting. Wow. Now I'll ask you a question. So sounds like you divorced.
Yeah.
How long ago?
Many years ago.
What you?
6-7 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I know divorce is one of the hardest things to go through. Trust me. Mostly, I don't know how it feels when you have children.
Divorce itself isn't what led to divorce. Was
Unfaithfulness.
all kinds of things.
All kinds of things.
All kinds of things.
And I don't want to say that the grounds for divorce is only unfaithfulness. There's all kind of stuff that can lead into it. And I want to say that if you're going through anything like that right now and you're watching this video, just know that we got you here. We know how it feels. I went through a very bad breakup, because my girl at that time, she had conflict between her sexual identity. So she'd be like, she likes women, or at the same time she likes me. And I'm like, hey, you confuse me, you know? Like, she's like, maybe she's bisexual,
That's
maybe she's lesbian. And I had to like figure out what am I gonna do with myself. And one day we decided that this is not working. And I was really traumatized for like 6-7 months. I never wanted to date anybody who identified in any sexual stuff, because I felt like they might also one day wake up and leave because they think they're lesbians or something.
That's challenging.
What did you say? Huh?
What's that?
Hey, we have some people back there who are being nosy. Yeah. Okay, let's go. This is a hot topic in the US. We're in Puerto Vallarta, and Puerto Vallarta is one of the places where the LGBTQ plus community really enjoys the freedom of expressing themselves, particularly transgenders and gays. I've been working.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
How do you know?
I've been walking. I haven't been staying in the resort like you guys. So, what's your take on LGBTQ plus, according to you, in an honest opinion? What do you think?
According to me, what do you think I might think?
I don't think what you think. I know you think what you're thinking. So you tell me what you're thinking.
Take a guess. Like, I raise boys, and I raised 2 boys, and I think they are very good little human beings. So what do you think I might think about LGBTQ?
Wow, that's a good question. What do I think? LGBT, so before I answer your question, I'll say this. I've evolved enough to understand that people can express themselves, and they should never be demonized for who they want to be, sexually or culturally. But at the same time, I have reservations when a group, like someone, is pushing their lifestyle towards people's houses by force. So I have this balance that, in Africa, you don't even talk about LGBT. Like, bro, they killed them there, unfortunately. There's this guy who was killed in Kenya. Was it this year in January? Just because I think he was gay. He was attacked because he was gay. So I grew up in a community where this thing was so foreign to me, and it was like, if you act kind of feminine as a man, people will make fun of you in the whole community. And then I moved to the US, where this thing is publicly displayed. They just publicly. And I was highly conflicted with how to approach it. So I don't care how you feel or what you think, but I just want to know your own opinion. But for me, if my kid was to be like, I'm gay, I know I'll be very shocked. I have to be honest, I will. I'll be like, wow. But
and why?
Because I've been raised in a system that believes that marriage is for procreation and family. And I have to accept that there's some reality that are being outspoken to the public. There's some things we are realizing right now as we grow as human race, that same sex is also a fact.
And what about people who marry but don't want to have kids?
Oh, so if I talk about sexual parts, human body parts, that's also something that is like I'm thinking about. I know that if you want to have sex, there's only one place your sexual organ should go to. So even if they don't have kids, but they're having sex with opposite sexual organs, I think it doesn't raise a big alarm or something in my head. I'm just being honest. I'm sorry, my friends. I don't feel like I'm hating on anybody, but I'm just.
No, this is just a conversation.
Yeah, like so it's like positive and negative. You know that idea? It's like there's no way I can imagine. Oh, can I say it? I'll say
why not?
So like there's a body part that is made for excretion for your system, and there's another place that is made for procreation. So that's how I've been thinking about it. But at the same time, I have actually transgender friends and gays friends, and recently I've been very okay with it completely. Maybe because I've talked publicly about it. Back in the days, I was afraid of talking about it. So anytime someone will tell me they're gay, I'd be like, oh, okay. Who are you? So and the first thing will come into my mind is, how do you have sex? It was mostly like sexual part of it. Well,
I feel like, so you see, like I feel like this is like.
It was good. I like your question.
No, here's what I'm thinking, because there is definitely like a traditional
way of having sex.
Right. Traditional idea of how two people should come together, or what kind of two people should come together, and what kind of family people should form. Yeah. But then it has become basically a blind belief. Like we just take that tradition as what we believe. And then we justify that with, like what you just said, like, okay, certain things only goes into certain things. But then again, so people do put your things in different places. Wow. So that doesn't really justify that, right? Wow. So
it's good, I'm hearing. Yeah.
So my take on this is really, if my boys turn out to be gays, they're still my boys.
That's true. And me too, actually. If my kids turn out to be gay or anything, they will still be. But because my system has been conditioned in a way for so many years, I know I'll have that thing that, oh, really? You're gay? How long have you been gay?
Yeah. Because it kind of scares us, because it's so...
Yeah, like what made you, or how do you feel?
Different.
How have you been feeling? You know what I mean? Because I've been raised in a system that says at a certain age you should start talking to women and chase them. And make sure you get one and you can marry them and have kids.
Yeah.
Actually, if you don't have kids in Kenya, if you're a woman who is unable to have children, they have a word for you. They call you forgotten soldier or something like that. It's like you are nothing. Like you're not productive. Yeah. And this has really made women suffer in Africa, because you find men who are like impotent, and they don't do testing, and then they blame the women for that. Unfortunately.
Yeah. So see, like the way I see these things is like, if it interrupts the society, or if it interrupts your own personal life, if it doesn't interrupt either, then you're fine to do whatever.
But now let's be fair. Think about, I feel like political energy sometimes can be too pushy.
Yeah, it focuses on sexuality, which I don't give a fuck, like, whose sexuality is what. Yeah. Like, your sexual orientation, you don't have to tell me.
I know.
Like, I will respect you as a person. Like, I don't necessarily need to know, oh, you're straight, so I respect you, or you're gay, that I respect you. You're a person. And
there's this, so in the LGBT community, the gays, I think everybody knows gays exist, lesbians, and then there's a certain group in the LGBT community who's getting all the fire currently, being transgender. So like, for example, this topic about bathrooms, like should transgenders share the same bathroom with biological women?
I think it's really stupid, because there's an easy fix. Most of the countries in the world don't really necessarily separate men's room and women's room. It's a bathroom.
That's true, even in Kenya.
Right. Yeah. It's a bathroom. So like in my city, like from years ago, when we started to have subways, we had public restrooms and with stalls, like closed doors stalls. And everybody goes in there. Like, it's a big public bathroom, and that's it. You don't necessarily have to separate all that much. But then again, there are bad trans people and, just regular trans people.
That's true.
And bad people too. and bad men too, right? Like,
that's true.
So all kinds of people are able to be bad, and it's not necessarily a trans people problem, it's a bad people problem.
That's true. Wow. This has never been explained as clear as this dear Chinese girl is really explaining it. I think it's time for us to move to China. It looks like there's so many intelligent people in China. And it won't get old, you know? Sorry, excuse my throat. It's just so much Chinese content in my system. But anyway, I have to go back to the airport and I have to fly to United States tonight. And hey, my friends, I want to say, what else can I do if I was not here? I have to come and visit. You see Minneapolis?
Yeah.
You know, it's like 4 hours from Chicago.
It's 6 hours by car.
You know, it's 1 hour by plane.
You're 1 hour
and
by
the flights are so
it's
cheap.
It's pretty easy.
So, hey, count me as your family member.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for spending time with us. My
nice
name is
chatting.
Daisy, Yushi right here. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe on this channel too.
Woohoo.
Much love. Peace.
All right.